right, I carved this out of crepe myrtle, left a fork on it. Here's some 2-strand reverse wrap that I went backwards and did those two together, so made 4-strand. And then what I'm doing is just opening it up so each side goes on. Carved a little notch in the back. We'll use a yucca stock for our spindle. Get a straight piece and we'll just score it, and then make a little top for it. And then with yucca, I'm just pushing it into something hard, kind of round it over. Don't want to lose too much integrity here. I think that'll be fine. This is some cottonwood bark. I used it for a bearing block, but I'm just going to flatten this out and use it as the fireboard. That should go. We'll see with this crack what happens. Well, that happened. We don't want that. We'll use this side. Well, maybe we'll just go and shape this down a little better. Cottonwood makes excellent components for friction fire. Just that bark is so thick. So we'll use the existing bearing block divot I had. Open this up. My spindle's not very big, so we'll just burn that in. Give it a double wrap. All right. I think that should work out pretty well. Carved this feather stick with this AA Forge Kep art. And then we added some jute there. There's a red Yeti striker. And he forged in a divot, which is pretty sweet. Not the straightest, that's all right. So this is waxed jute. Whoops. Pretty old stuff. We'll see if we can get anything working off of this. All right. Maybe that'll go a little better. Alright. We're getting some brown dust and some smoke. So now we're burning in. Forgot to get a little coal catcher. Just use this leaf here. Get in the habit of saving your dust if you want to make life a little easier. And then I have this so thick, it's gonna be a lot to fill. So I'll leave it kind of narrow. But cottonwood bark is just like really easy to carve. Just keep it real clean so the dust has somewhere to go. Looks pretty good right there. That dust we were making we'll add right there to it. I'm gonna tighten this up a little to ensure that we get that nice and tight. If your line gets too loose, you're gonna fight it, and if it gets too tight, it's just not gonna work. So you can use your thumb right here as pressure, but using all natural components, you gotta just kind of make it work. Just going nice and easy. Filling my notch. I don't want to push too hard because I can just drill right through. Well, we did it again. Give her one more shot. But we were getting a good burn. We still have about maybe just under half the life of the bark left. Clean that up. It's gonna fit in there, so we'll just try her again. Always pivot if something goes wrong, and it does a lot in friction fire for me. Again, not the straightest piece. And now we have to burn it in. Don't know. That one snapped too. All right. Let's see if we can get the smallest spindle ever to work. No, we cannot. Okay. So it's always nice to have other spindles we're gonna have to open this for the larger spindle and then burn it in. A lot of this obviously is just for practice because it's not very difficult in your yard. And I say that failing a lot because it is very difficult, but easier not being in the elements and everything else. Okay, so now we can get this nice and easy burn in. We already have a notch, so we just are getting these parts to work. You want to get your line too low, you want to get it too high, that's when you start flipping spindles out. So I'm just looking down to see if I'm getting any dust in the notch. Using my thumb to pressure the cordage. We'll give her a shot, and if not, I'll have to tighten this up again. But it looks like we caught her. So hold your fireboard so that way you don't lose all your powder. You want this to sit and coalesce. So we've got an ember now. Can't leave it too long because it's on a leaf. So I'm gonna take great care to keep my ember alive. Now I can let it sit and coalesce in the jute. Obviously, can't blow too hard because you'll have the issue of blowing all the dust away. So as it turns black, it's kind of creating that coal. It's not kind of, it is. You can give it the old fan. If you blow, you're adding moisture from your breath. You just fan it with your hand, you're inviting some oxygen into the game. Got pretty good smoke, so I want to get this all right. Fire.